Welcome to the first training session for Golden Model Studios Digital Partners. We're going to do these pretty regularly. Basically, there's so much happening in the technology field that it's just impossible for me to keep everyone up to date on everything. So what I'm going to try and do is take the knowledge that I get and then funnel that down to the most useful things and then give that to you in a group setting so that we can all sort of learn together. If you can't attend the live training sessions where we can have sort of a Q&A, that's fine. I'll do recordings and we can share it that way. And I do encourage you to ask me any questions that you have if you're watching the video later on. All right, let's get into it. Okay, to start off with, I'm just going to sort of run through the lesson plan that I have, and then I'm going to jump into some tools and kind of show you how to use them, from getting them from the application and then taking it to your website and actually using it. So what we'll cover today, what is content and why is it important, the 3 problems with creating content, and then obviously jumping into those tools that I mentioned. So content is really important basically because we can answer the question that everyone is asking, and it's, I have a problem, can you solve it? And a lot of those questions will come from Google. If you think about just in your life, when you want to know something, first thing you do is you Google it. So basically we have to create content that is going to answer those questions for people. And there's ways that we can figure out what questions people are asking and then tailor content to answer those questions. And I've got another point here about Google's helpful content update, which came out last year. The helpful content update basically is about understanding, Google uses AI to understand the question that you're asking and how it can help the person that's asking it. And that's really, really important for us to jump in and create content that is going to answer those questions. And then that top point there, Google runs around 99,000 search queries per second, which adds up to a whopping 8.5 billion searches on Google per day. The average person searches 3 to 4 times per day on Google. And if you're a programmer like me, it's about 300 to 400 times a day. But that's beside the point. All right, next slide. So we know we have to create content, but we face some problems creating it. And those 3 main ones are, what do we write about? How do we know what is going to be helpful to our customers? We can answer that by doing keyword research. So we're not going to cover that today. I'll give you a sort of a brief overview of that, but essentially keyword research is about looking into those queries that are done on Google and understanding what people are looking for and how that relates to your industry. So it's a really deep topic, and we will look at that. But what I wanted to do today was more about getting in and creating the content, because it's better that we put something out than nothing. So today's about what can you go away from here and create something and start putting content out there. And then we can come back and sort of tailor that more based on those keyword research tools. So the second one is, how do we find the time to create the content? As you know, running a business is very, very difficult. Even just doing your normal processes takes a long time. And then you've got to go and write about it. So that's tough. So we're going to use AI and automations to save some time there. And that's what we're going to look at today. That's today's lesson. And then finally, how do we know after we've written this content if it's effective? How do we know if it's getting people to our site? And the way we answer that question is by using analytics. We can collect data from a lot of different places like social media, from our website, And then we kind of have to put that into context and really understand what people are looking for and how they're using our websites. So that's another topic that we're going to cover in a different sort of session or a group of sessions. But today we're going to look at that middle point using AI and automations. So the tools we're going to look at today, the first one is a tool called Copy AI, and it's a website, and I'm going to give you the links to all these in a separate document. But basically, Copy AI generates different types of written content based on your input, and we're going to jump in and have a look at that one today. It's quite good. Writer is the next one we're going to look at, and it's like Copy AI. But it differs in the sense that you choose a topic and then it'll give you an outline. So it won't write the content or all of the content, or write some of it, and it'll give you kind of a template to work within, which can be really helpful. If you're like me and you like writing, having that sort of template to work from, or even just someone to write the intro, it can get you started, which can be really helpful. And that third tool that we're going to look at, now this is one that I've rolled out to all of your websites. If it's not on your website, it will be, so don't panic. But Nelio Content. Now this is a really interesting one. Basically, you use these first two tools, Copy AI and Writer, to create the content, and then we'll use Nelio Content to schedule that content to post to our website and to our social media. And that's going to save us so much time. And we can actually use the first two tools to create, a few weeks in advance content that we can have scheduled weeks in advance, so that we're consistent and we're posting regularly, and that's going to attract more traffic. So with that being said, let's jump in and have a play with those tools. All right, guys, so we're going to jump into those tools, but just before we pop into that first one, I just wanted to let you know about this website called openai.com. So these guys, Elon Musk is a co-founder of this company, and they're the ones that are working towards neural implants to sort of connect our brains to the internet. It's a bit crazy, yes, but basically these guys have done research into natural language processing, which is algorithms that understand the way that we speak so that it can produce written content. And this latest algorithm that they've just brought out is called DALL-E. I believe that's how you say it. But basically, it'll take a description that you give it and a style, an artistic style, and then it will generate an image from that. So that's another type of content that you can generate, and we'll look at that sort of in the future as that tool develops more and becomes available to developers as we start seeing tools. So on that website, you'll also find some examples, and this is ways that their research can help in business. So this is not something that you can use for your business, but it's an idea of functionality that's been built, that there might be a tool out there that some developer is using in a tool, and we may cover it in a future lesson. I just wanted to show you an example of just how incredible these algorithms actually are. So this one's creating an ad from a product description. And that's possible in the tools that we're going to look at today. So the prompt is write a creative ad for the following product to run on Facebook aimed at parents. And then it says product. Learning Room is a virtual environment to help students from kindergarten to high school excel in school. And then if we have a look at the response, now this is what the algorithm has produced, and something that you could take away and then use. Are you looking for a way to help your child excel in school? Look no further than Learning Room. Our virtual environment is designed to help students from kindergarten to high school learn and grow. With our help, your children will be able to get ahead in school and achieve their academic goals. It's succinct, it's pretty good. You could take that and use it without changing too much. So that's one example. So I'll put a link in the notes for this as well. And you can just, if you've got time, of course, jump in and have a play around, have a look. Some really cool stuff in there. That second one that I was talking about, DALL-E 2 or DALL-E 2. So it's the latest kind of image generation algorithm, and it's got an example that you can use on their website as well. So basically you give it a text description. So for example, a bowl of soup, that is a portal to another dimension. And then we want it in the style of digital art. And as you can see here, it's produced this example, and it actually has generated these alternatives as well. So it kind of understands that it may not nail it the first time. So it gives you a few options in the output, which is pretty cool. So this is a good example you can have a play around with. I kind of like the astronaut lounging in a tropical resort in space. I like that. I think it's cool. So you can jump in and have a look at those. Not bad, not bad. All right, so let's move into those tools now. Okay, so this is Copy AI, and it's the first tool we're going to look at. So basically, I've just signed up already. I just used a Google account. You can do the same. The reason I chose Copy AI and Writer as the tools that I'm showing you is because you can sign up for free without a credit card, and it has a free plan that you can keep using into the future. So the way these programs are charged, the way that they work is on a subscription, and they charge you sort of like credits based on how many characters or words you produce. So I wouldn't invest money in these tools just yet, because you can jump in and use it for free and just test and see if it works for you, if it's creating good content before you spend any money on it. So Copy AI has got sort of these options on the side here, and they're to steer you in the right direction of what you want to do. So as an example, if you want to go and create a Facebook ad, you're not sure how to write your content, you can come in here and give it a description and it will do that. So there's a few there, and once you sign up to this tool, you can jump in and have a play around. So it'll put you on a 7-day free trial of the pro version, and that'll let you play around with all the features. So this is if you were paying for it, everything that you would get. What you'll find is after the 7 days, the functionality is going to cut right back and you're not going to be able to do as much. But you could do things like simple long form content and things like that. So it's still useful. And if you found that what you got out of the paid version worked for you, let me know as well, because I can pass that information on to other clients and let them know sort of where to look and what might be useful for them as well. So what I've done is I've jumped in and create this project called creating content blog post. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to create some content that I can put on my website as a helpful piece of content. And I thought I'd make it about creating content. So I've already come in and I've told it I'm looking to create a blog. And it's saying, well, what do you want to cover? And there's a little information here. And it gives you some tips. You need 15 words or more. And the more, the better your description, the better the result. And you have up to 1,500 characters that you can use. So really give it some detail. I've said, I've put in a question because people are going to ask questions and we're going to answer them. So basically I'm asking the tool to answer this question for me: why content marketing can help get new customers. And then I'm also saying how to write helpful content. They're the two things I want it to write for me. And then this last option is choosing a tone that we want it to produce. And there's a few options there, and it depends on your brand tone of voice. So if you're not sure what that is, let me know and we can go over that. But basically you would choose a tone of voice for your brand. I'm going to go professional because basically I'm trying to be informative and I want to do that in a professional way. So this is the first time I'm using Copy AI. I've heard about it. I've read about it in many articles. I've seen people use it on YouTube. This is the first time I'm going to click the create content button. So what it produces is going to be a surprise to me and to you. So let's go for it. Here we go. Here we go. And I found Copy AI. It took long to create my account as well, so you might find that too. And it takes a bit of time to produce this article that we can see. So this is what it's created for me. It's a fact, content marketing works. So it's very active writing, which is good. It's the fastest, easiest way to get new customers and keep them coming back. Great opening. You know, this is really good content. So I'm not going to read through it. And it's given me four alternatives, and I could actually say make more, and it could go ahead and create more if I'm not happy with these. So this type of content here, this is called listicle content, and you can see that in this list over here as well. But listicle content is really, really good for SEO, and the reason is when Google reads through your content, listicle content really stands out, and it's succinct and it's to the point. It's saying, you know, 1, this, 2, this, 3, this, 4, this. That's really, really good content. And the fact that this is actually putting this in here as well, you know, it's answering a question and then it's producing the output here. I really like that. So I'm not going to read through all of them right now while I'm recording the video. I'm going to pause it, go away, and then pick the best one. And then I'm going to put that in a blog post that I'll use. So that's how easy it is to create content in Copy AI. And I would definitely encourage to come in and just have a look at all the great things that you can do with this. If you can't think of something to write, play around with the keyword generator, take some keywords and then use those in the description to create a blog post. Just see what you can create with it, because it's a really, really powerful tool and it's simple. So we all can jump in and start using this today. All right, get in and start playing with it. And the next one we'll look at is Writer AI. Okay, so this is the second tool that we're going to look at, and it's called Writer, spelled R-Y-T-R. I'm also going to give you guys a link to that one. Again, it was simple. I didn't have to put a credit card in. I just used my Google account to sign up. So I'll give you a link to that and you can sign up. I've had a bit of a look at this one. Again, this is another one I haven't actually created content with. So when I actually create the content, you're going to see it the first time and I'm going to see it for the first time. But I did notice before I did anything was these kind of like editor options. So as I mentioned at the very start, Writer doesn't create the whole article for you. It does use these use cases. So you would select a scenario that you want, and it's similar to Copy AI. They need you to tell them what context it's going to be used in. Just a quick one too. If you have a lot of products in a store and you don't want to have to sit there and write all the descriptions, these tools, you know, can save you so much time. So that's just a quick look at all the things that you can do with it. So I've written here the same question that I used in Copy AI, but I've noticed here in this text editor, when it produces the content, it gives you these operators that you can use. And I haven't used them yet, but I'm going to play with it once I've created the article. So they're checks. So this is a check, grammar check, plagiarism check. So it makes sure that you have, you know, it's not duplicated on another website or it hasn't been written already somewhere else, which can sometimes happen with these algorithms. They can sometimes just duplicate content that it's already written somewhere else. So those plagiarism checkers can sort of tell us if it's doing that, we can append, we can reword. If something's not written kind of the way we want it to, we can reword it. We can shorten something, or we can expand it. So I'm going to try and figure out how to work that as well, because we should be getting the most out of these tools. So this one here, I don't remember if I said it, but it's a one that you can use for free into the future as well. So we'll start off now. Let's have a look. So again, it's going to take a little while because we're asking it to do something pretty complex. There's a lot of math happening in the background. Really great. Straight away, I've noticed that the content is actually formatted as well. So this is looking really promising. And like I said, it's an outline. It's only an outline. So just having a look. Yeah, I quite like that. And it's giving me keywords as well. So really, I could use this to create those sections for me. And then I could actually take these keywords back into a tool like Copy AI and generate the content. And now that I've actually seen it create that, I'm probably going to go back to Copy AI, use these keywords to fill out these sections. And that's a really clever way to use both of these tools together. We'll generate an outline in this tool, take the keywords, use them in Copy AI to produce longer form content to populate the article. So let's do that. I'm going to stop the video there and I'm going to step through that. All right, so lesson learned. I'm gonna play around with the tools in more depth before we come to these videos, these sessions, because I found some really cool things after I stopped the video to do with Writer. So this is how I would use the two tools together. I would start off in Writer. I would create a blog idea and outline using your primary kind of keyword. And that can be a sentence, it can be a question, it can be a few keywords, that's up to you. But what it does is it creates this outline that I didn't realize until I started playing around with the tool. And it's giving us a really, really good head start. And I didn't know it was going to be such a good head start. But now that it has, what we can do from here is it gives us these keywords, okay, like this. And we can pick one of the keywords, or we can pick all of the keywords. And then we can go to this option here. And this is where we can choose those functions that I was talking about. So we can say expand, and it will write just a short paragraph that sums up those keywords. Okay, a customer retention plan. So it's not bad. That's good. And it's about this kind of thing, but it's not giving me 3, but that's okay. I could take the 3 from the Copy AI article before that created. But what I want to do is I want to take this description here and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back into Copy AI, and under the blog wizard, writing helpful, I'm going to just paste in those keywords and I'm going to leave it in that professional tone. Generate outline. I kind of just wanted to see what it would do taking keywords from one tool and putting in the other, and I thought it'd be great to just show that. So what have we got here? Yeah, it's kind of stepping through the process, so that's not really helpful. All right, scratch that. But what I was saying before is I can take these points here that it's listed for me, and I could use them in these sections here. So pretty much the AI is going to help you with the outline. It's going to create some content, but in the end, you're going to have to put it together to make it work best for your business. And this is, I would say, your role changes from being a writer to being an editor. So this is your writer now. It creates the content for you, and then you're basically going to look at it and say, how is this going to help my customers? And then kind of put it together. So what I'm going to do now, outside of the video, is I'm going to play around with the two tools, kind of using them both to fill out the sections here and create a full blog post. I'm going to do that in Google Docs. And then I'm going to put that on my website as a blog post. And then I'm going to show you the third tool, which is called Nelio Content. And that's going to be, I'm going to use the tool to schedule that post going onto my website and also out to my social media as well. So that's that third kind of problem that challenge that we have, like how do we find the time to do all this stuff? We create it, but then how do we schedule it? And how do we get it going out at the right times? So that's the next tool we're going to look at. So I'm now going to go and play around and make that article and post it. And then we're going to jump straight in and look at scheduling those posts. Okay, so I've gone away and filled out those sections, like I said. And I've just basically pasted everything in Google Docs just so you can kind of have a look. It's got those different sections for me. The only thing I really had trouble with this article is where it produced this section here, 3 benefits, when it was actually wanting me to use 3 benefits. I couldn't find any content that was produced already that gave me that. So I actually went back into Copy AI and put this as my prompt, as what I wanted it to create. And it came back with a few different things. And I used those things here. So I had my 3, but I also took other parts to pad out the article, because helpful content to Google should be between 1,500 characters and 2,000 characters. Unfortunately, this article is only 522 characters. The good news, though, is that I created this in maybe 15 minutes. That really speeds up time. I find we can often sit there just looking at the screen, thinking about what to write. So if we don't know, we've got all these really cool things that can prompt us. And then we can get help writing each of those sections, which is really good. And the content it's producing is quite good as well. So I've taken that, this article here as it is. I can go back later and put more detail into it, but for the sake of this training purposes, I'll use it as is. And I've done that. I've gone and posted it in my blog posts. What I've done, though, is I've left it as a draft and I haven't categorized it. So when we come into WordPress, the tool that we're going to work with is this Nelio Content. So basically, this is what it looks like. You'll come in to the calendar. It's the first place you'll look at. And I'll talk about some cool features with the calendar in a sec. But basically, you'll get this layout. And then over here, where my head is, these are all the articles that are unscheduled. And basically, we can drag and drop them onto a day and then set the timing and everything. So I'll do that in a sec. What I wanted to go through with you is this tool will not only publish to the website, but it will publish to our social media as well. And what we need to do is come into the settings section under social profiles. We need to connect our profiles. And these are all the options we have here across the bottom. The ones I would recommend for everyone is Facebook, obviously, LinkedIn if you're doing more professional type work, and Google My Business. That should be anyone that's looking for local customers. You need to be posting there. It's going to help you with ranking to post on Google My Business platform, which I think is called Google Business Profile now. So we connect those platforms, and if we find they're not posting for some reason, we can come in and just refresh that connection. Mine seem to be all working at the moment. Haven't had any issues with it. Hopefully you don't either, but if you do, let me know. So we can actually connect up to 10 profiles. And the good thing about that is you may only have, 3 platforms that you use, say Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, but you may post to some Facebook groups. So you can actually add those connections as well, which is cool. So we can post into groups. So that's I haven't been able to connect everyone because you need to come in and log in and do that. So that's the first thing I'd say is jump into Neelio content, go into settings, and connect your social profiles. And then the second thing you need to do after that is our social templates. Now, this is telling the program, if you're posting for me, do it in this format. So for example, by default, it'll just post the title and a link back to your website. I've gone in and just changed it slightly for Google Business Profile. I've made mine do the title, a little excerpt, and then the permalink says continue reading. Then there's the link. And I've also adjusted the Facebook one as well to just show the title, the excerpt, and the permalink. So there's a lot of different options you can do with this. You just go into templates, add a template, choose the platform, and then make it look however you want to look. If you're posting recipes or something like that, you might have something written here like, check out our latest recipe. And that's a template, and it will use that template to post recipes. So it's a good way to set up those templates. I'm just going to leave mine as is because I'm going to write about a lot of different things. So I just want default templates that I can use for anything. And just down the bottom here, it's got a reshare function. Now that is where, if you haven't produced any new content, to make your site look active, it'll go back and reshare old content that you've produced. So it keeps you active, which is great for search engines that want to see, those freshness factors. Have you created new content lately? Those sort of things. And if you don't know what any of that means, that's okay. We will get into those factors in later sessions. So the third, is calendars. And this is a really, really cool thing. And I'm going to set everyone up with Australia's holidays. So basically, this is a calendar that we pass into our calendar that will mark days with certain events. So if you have a calendar that's specific to your industry, you can add that in here, and on your content calendar, your editorial calendar, you'll then see those days. And I'll show you an example of that because we've just had Melbourne Cup. It shows up in the calendar. So it's really good when you are trying to plan out the content you want to create. You can also come back in here, look at those feeds and say, well, the Australian holidays is great for retail. If it's, Christmas or Easter or something like that coming up, we all know when those days are, but it's those Melbourne Cups and things like that that people don't think of. So if you think of things specific to your industry and you want to make a calendar to use in this, we can do that as well. So you can just let me know and we'll customize one that we can put in here that has specific dates for your industry. I'll show you that in one sec. So this other one is feeds. Now, feeds is a great one for getting ideas of what to write. So this is another one that can give you those prompts. So I've put in a feed here of a site that I like, which is called WP Beginner, and that's WordPress Beginner. They put out a lot of good information about WordPress updates and things like that. So I've put their feed in there, and I can see the articles that they're creating, what they're talking about. And that tells me, is there something useful there that my clients need to hear about? Is there something that I need to be talking about? Or is there something I need to learn? So it's really great to have those feeds in there. And we can have a look at that in a sec as well. Another way you can use the feeds is to monitor your competition. So if you can grab a feed from your main competitor and you know what they're talking about, you can find the gaps, what they're missing, and then target those things to get the customers that they lose. So these are all different strategies that we can cover, but we're just going to start with the basics first and then move into those deeper strategies. So that's feeds, and advanced is Nothing that you need to worry about. It's more about scheduling notifications, those kind of things. I'll manage that for you, so don't stress about that. Just going back to feeds. So this is WP Beginners articles. For some reason, it's duplicated this one. They may have reshared it or something like that. But they haven't got, there's not too many in there for me to look at, but that's a good example. I can see what they're talking about. And if that's useful to me, it could be my competitor analysis. Yeah, so that's feeds. Okay, back to the calendar. So when I talked about that, that holiday calendar, this is what I'm talking about. This is not a scheduled thing that I've put in there. That's been picked up by that holiday calendar that I've put in there. And that's really good, because if I came into November and I didn't have any content ready to go, I could say, well, what holidays are there? Is there content I should be creating around this that people are going to be looking at? And it's going to be, I think, holidays are great for posting social or scheduling social media, because you can just set it ahead of time and not have to worry about it. And that's what this tool will do for us. So that's where those holidays come in. So this is my article that I've written with those AI tools. And now the date today is the 5th, and I'm going to take it and schedule it for Monday. Okay, so I've just dragged it and dropped it. I'm going to click on it to see the details. I want to use a different tag. I don't want it to be uncategorized. It's about digital strategy, so I'm going to choose that. I'm going to choose that as my category. I'm not going to worry about any tags. I am going to set from draft, I'm going to set it to scheduled, because that's what we're doing now. If we don't change that, it's not going to post. And I'm happy with a 10 o'clock. That's okay for me. And I'm just gonna, I've got two users. One's my admin. I'm gonna use this one because that's got my photo in it, and it's my one that I use for posting. So that's everything that I need to do. I'm gonna update my schedule. Okay, that's all I have to do. It's scheduled and ready to go now. Okay, so we've got the article scheduled to post. So now on Monday the 7th at 10 a.m, it's going to post to my website, and it's also going to post to any accounts that I've set up for social media. What I've also done, I had to pause the video because I realized my license wasn't activated, so it wasn't going to work. So I fixed that up, and I've come back in, and I've also created this, you can create in here social media posts ahead of time as well, which is great. So you just click on this share button, you choose the platform that you want to post to, and then you can write your post. So you can schedule posts ahead of time as well, and we could choose images if we want to do an image post, or we can share an old article as well, and we can set the times for that. So this is something like Hootsuite or Buffer. If you're familiar with those, it's got that functionality. So I've just done a quick, in case you missed it, and I've just shared an article that I posted about last month. So that's just something quickly that I can set up and have ready to go. So that's going to happen for me on Thursday, and I'll check back in how those go. But that's all you have to do. Use the AI tools to create the content, and then use Nearlio content to schedule them on your calendar. And we'll work together on using these tools together and scheduling that content. In future sessions, we'll look at, finding those keywords, diving deeper into, writing about what your customers care about. And we'll also look at reviewing analytics, so we can test how effective what we're writing about is or isn't, and then we can adjust from there. So I hope you learned something useful. This tools should be available on your website to use. As I said, go in and go to the settings and connect your social media accounts and start using it. And if you have any questions, let me know.